Hello everyone, it is Wednesday afternoon. I've gotten a few questions about the movie analysis project, so I wanted to clarify some things. First of all, don't think of it as a movie scene feasibility report. This is not a feasibility report in any traditional sense. A feasibility report is whether a certain decision is feasible or not. In other words, should the company enact this decision, you are looking at the feasibility of doing that. Okay, and so you develop criteria for whether doing the new thing will be better than keeping whatever was done previously, or than not doing the new thing. That is different from, that is similar to a recommendation report, which is different from your movie analysis project. Now, as I mentioned before, there are 3 deliverables for your movie analysis project. First, there is a 4,000 word report. You will write a formal report based on the chapter on research reports in the Pocketbook of Technical Writing. So that is the first deliverable. It is a 4,000 word formal research report. Second, you will turn that research report or some part of it into a 5-minute presentation that you will post just like you did your Code of Ethics presentation. Third, you will write a 1,000 word magazine article meant for very general audiences. So the formal report is meant for a more scientific audience, people in your shoes, people who have finished or are about to finish 2 years of a scientific college education. So we can all understand it, but maybe a general audience who didn't have the same scientific knowledge, maybe they either wouldn't understand it or they wouldn't want to read it. The magazine article is more enjoyable. It's there's a whole nother post about how to turn it into a magazine article. It should be something that uses the writing style and the topic as something that people would want to read, not like a research report, which people would generally have to read. So what are you doing for this whole project? You choose a movie scene and you analyze it from a scientific standpoint. For example, choose anything. I had a student write about the movie Fast and Furious something or other. I don't know which one. I've seen one of them, I think, or 2. Anyway, the scene I'm thinking of is where they have 2 Dodge Chargers which drag a really heavy bank vault out of a building and down the street. And so what they looked at was the horsepower and torque of Dodge Chargers and the cables that they have and the weight of the bank vault to see what would happen if this were put into real life. So you can see it's kind of feasibility, but that's not, you're really just analyzing it. So what would happen to the street? Would the bank vault move at all? Would it rip the bumpers off? Would the cables break? Whatever it is, what would happen if this were in actual life where actual physics applies? But it doesn't have to be just physics. You could analyze chemistry. So I had a student one time analyze a scene from Breaking Bad where Walt has a chemical that he explodes, and this was a person who had been in the military and had worked with demolitions, and he looked at the composition of the actual thing that he was holding that he exploded, and I can't remember what it was called, to see what would the explosion have been like if this had been in real life where real chemistry applies. So it's not a movie feasibility report. It's not a feasibility report. It's not a recommendation report. It is a movie scene analysis. Movie scene analysis project, which includes a report, a presentation, and a magazine article. And it's your job to figure out what scene you want to use, and then to see what you need to analyze. And then once you know what you want to analyze, you need to figure out where you find that information. Don't look up someone who's already done an analysis of the scene. That's not interesting. I want you to come up with it. So where are you going to find that information? Where are you going to find the blast radius of a certain amount of this chemical? Where are you going to find the forces of a Dodge Charger, right? Or the towing capacity of a Dodge Charger, and how much force they would enact forward on a bank vault. The drag forces of the bank vault, of the type of street it is. Maybe there's a difference between asphalt and concrete. Well, what did they use? I think it was in Brazil or something. So you're going to look at all these things. Okay. I hope that helps. Good luck.